Hey guys, welcome back to I Emily, and today we're going to continue our historical facts will mess with your perception time. So let's get started. Number 21. Orville Wright was still alive when Hiroshima and Nagasaki were bombed in 1945. The Wright brothers are credited for inventing what we know as airplanes, and must have been tremendously difficult for Orville Wright, whose brother Wilbur died back in 1912, to see his life's great achievement be responsible for the greatest single ever destruction ever seen. In 1945, U.S. Air Force planes dropped atomic bombs on the Japanese city of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, killing at least 129,000 people, mainly civilians. Orville died in 1948 and expressed sadness and envy about the death of destruction, but about the bombers of World War II. We dare to hope we have invented something that will bring lasting peace to the earth, but we were wrong. No, I don't have any regrets about my part in the invention of the airplane, though no one could avoid more the destruction it had caused. I feel about the airplane much of the same I do in regard to fire. That is, I regret all the terrible damage caused by fire, but I think it's good for the human race that someone discovered how to start fire, and what we have learned how to put fire to thousands of important use. So Orville was still alive when those atomic bombs on the Japanese cities. His brother Wilbur died back in 1912. That's before World War One. Number 22. Charlie Chaplin and Adolf Hitler were both born in 1889. Interestingly, Chaplin portrayed Hitler in the 1940 satire The Great Dictator. The Great Dictator in 1940 is a 1940 American political satire comedy drama film written, directed, produced, scored, and starring British comedian Charlie Chaplin, following the tradition of his many other films. Chaplin's films advance a story controversial commitment of Adolf Hitler, Benjamin Mussolini. Sorry, I happens. Sorry, I can't pronounce that name. Basium, anti-Semitism in the Nazis. At the time of release, the United States was still formally at peace with Nazi Germany. Chaplin played both leading roles. A ruthless, faceless dictator and a pursued Jewish barber. Coincidentally, Chaplin and Hitler were the same age, both being born in 1889. I mean, that's crazy. Chaplin was before Hitler. Chaplin was making all those movies, silent movies. Number 23. The Eiffel Tower was inaugurated in 1889 for the World's Fair, which was the same year Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night was painted. Regarded as among Van Gogh's finest works, the Starry Night is one of the most recognized paintings in the history of Western culture. One of the most recognized buildings, the Eiffel Tower, was built in the same year that Van Gogh painted his masterpiece, 1889. The tower was only supposed to serve as entrance for the World Fair in Paris, but as we now know, it has become a permanent and much loved feature of the Paris skyline. 1889 was quite the year for iconic works. I mean, I love A Starry Night. It got the moon. It got the beautiful moons and stars. You know. Number 24. The Ottoman Empire existed the second to last time the Chicago Cubs won the World Series, 1908. Before the Chicago Cubs won the World Series in 2016, they had won previously since 1908. That means that the second to last time the Cubs tasted victory in the Ottoman Empire still exists. Before it dissolved after defeat in World War I and what became modern-day Turkey. So 1908 was the second to last time the Cubs tasted victory. I mean, that is so cool. Number 25. The Colosseum in Rome, Italy was unveiled in AD. Around the same time, the Gospel of Luke and the Acts of the Apostles in the Bible were written. Luke is one of the longest It's the longest of the four Gospels and the longest book in the New Testament, together with Acts of the Apostles. It makes up 2-volume work from the same author called Luke Acts. The most probable date for competition is around 80 to 110 AD, and there's evidence that it still be revised well into the 2nd century. Meanwhile, the Colosseum, also known as the Flavian Amphitheater, was complete in 80 AD. It is the largest amphitheater ever built and can host between 50,000 and 8,000 spectators. It was used for gladiatorial contests and public spectacles such as moccasin battles, animal hunts, executions, reenactments of famous battles, and drama based on classical mythology. So before TV, people just go to the Colosseum and watch all these stuff. Number 26. The first underground line in London was opened on January 10, 1863. At that time, the Civil War was still raging in the U.S. The idea for construction of the London Underground appeared in the 1830s, and on January 10, 1863, the first underground line was opened. At that time, the Civil War in the United States was still being fought, and wasn't until December 1865 that the famous 13th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution was adopted, meaning that slavery was to be abolished. Cool. Number 27. Charlie Chaplin died in 1977, the same year that Apple was incorporated. Another surprising link between Two-Faced era, the silent film of Charlie Chaplin, and the beginning of the computer age. Chaplin died age 88 in 1977 in Switzerland after suffering a stroke in his sleep. Apple Computers was incorporated in the same year, showing how rapidly technology had advanced in the post-war years. So Apple was incorporated when Charlie Chaplin died. Number 28. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows was published in the summer 2007. The same summer first iPhone model was released. The second and last book of the Harry Potter series, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, was released in 2007, ending the series that began in 1997 with the publication of Harry Potter the Philosopher's Stone. The same year, something came along that had probably done more to kill children's interest in reading more than anyone else. The first iPhone. Wow. 2007 was like long time ago. It's 2021. And that was 14 years ago that the first iPhone was released. Number 29. The Brooklyn Bridge was being built during the Battle of Little Bighorn, 1876. The battle was fought between forces of the Lakota, Northern Cheyenne, and Apollo tribes in the United States Army. The defeat of U.S. forces led by Lt. Col. George Armstrong Custer was the most significant action of the Great Sword War of 1876. The Brooklyn Bridge still stands proud, have undergone major renovation work between 2011 through 2015 and still carry excuse me 150,000 vehicle cyclists and pedestrians between Manhattan and Brooklyn each day. Number 3. Buffalo Bill Cody was alive at the same time the Germans were bombing Led Zeppelin. That was in 1916. So that was World War I. Two different eras of warfare are brought together in the life of William Frederick Buffalo Bill Cody. The showman was one of the most colorful figures of the American Old West after he started performing in shows that displayed cowboy themes and episodes from frontiers and Indian War. He founded Buffalo Bill's Wild West in 1883, taking his large company on tour in the United States and began in 1887 in Great Britain and continental Europe. Shortly before his death, the legend of Wild West will have heard about a horrifying new concept by war, dropping bombs from the sky. German Zeppelins and planes were doing the Silver Paris in 1960, signaling a giant technological leap in the killing of fellow human beings, far removing the cowboys and Indians on horseback. Number 31. Artist Pablo Picasso died in 1973, the same year Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon was released. Wow. So if you don't know who Pablo Picasso is, he's an artist and he co-founding the Cubist movement, the invention of construction sculpture, the co-invention of collage, and for the wide variety of style he helped development in the sport. Unlike some of the great artists who die young, Pablo Picasso lived a long and full life until he passed away in 1973, which was coincidentally the same year that the most groundbreaking and progressive album ever made was Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd, with an estimated 45 million copies sold. It is Pink Floyd's most successful album and one of the best-selling worldwide. It has been remastered and released several times and covered entirely by several acts. It produced 2 singles, Money and Other Them, and is often regarded as the greatest album of all time. I agree with that. Number 32. Microsoft was founded while Spain was still a fascist dictatorship. That was in 1975. A highly controversial figure of Spain, Franco is seen as a dissident leader. Support credit his strong anti-communist and nationalist views as the policy persuasion of traditional Spanish practice and support the monarchy in Spain as positive all over the world. Chris disparaged him as an autocratic dictator who finally suppressed opposition to Spain culture as they are non-Spanish, youth concentration camps, and forced labor, and provided much support to the Axis powers during World War II. Franco ruled Spain as a fascist state up until his death in 1975, age 82. The same year that Microsoft was founded by Paul Allen and Bill Gates, and the beginning of the new era in computer technology. Cool. Number 33. Abraham Lincoln was assassinated on April 15, 1865, just a few months before the Secret Service was created. So Abraham Lincoln was assassinated on April 15, 1865, just months before the Secret Service was found. The regulation to create the Secret Service was on Lincoln's death on the night he died. Perhaps if they created a few months earlier, they might have foiled the plot to assassinate him. Number 34. Prince William and Kate Middleton were married on April 29, 2011, just a few days before Osama bin Laden was killed. So, the wedding of Prince William and Catherine Middleton took place on April 29, 2011 at Westminster Abbey in London, United Kingdom. The groom, Prince William, is second in line of the succession to the British throne. The bride, Catherine Middleton, had been his girlfriend since 2004. Days later, Navy SEALs stormed the compound of Osama bin Laden in Al-Abada, Pakistan, killed him in the nearly 10-year search for the Al-Qaeda founder. Wow. Number 35. Spanish surrealist artist Salvador Dali died in 1989, the same year that actor Daniel Radcliffe, actress Hayden Panettiere, and rapper Kurt Cobain were born. Spanish surrealist artist Salvador Dali was best known for striking, bizarre images in his surrealist work, and he also known for contribution to the art of fashion and photography, among other areas. His painting skills are often attributed to the influence of Renaissance masters, which it may be that quite surprising to learn. By the time Dali died in 1989, modern celebrities such as Daniel Radcliffe was already here. I mean, yeah, a lot of people were born that year. Taylor Swift, Harry Potter, that's Daniel Radcliffe. I call Daniel Radcliffe Harry Potter. Who else was born in 1989? Yo! On our way with your pizza. Okay, bye. Sorry. Number 36. The Magna Carta was signed in 1215. The same year, Beijing was captured and burned by the Mongols under the direction of Genghis Khan. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't want to read all this. Okay. Number three. Oh. Number 37. Yellowstone National Park was created in 1872, just 1 year after the German states unified to modern day Germany. So, Yellowstone National Park is located in Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho. And it was established by the U.S. Congress and signed into law by President Ulysses S. Grant on March 1st, 1872. Yellowstone was the first national park in the U.S. and also widely held to be the first national park in the world. The European Germany into a politician, politically and similarly a national nation state officially occurred on January 18, 1871 when independent German states decided to form a new German Reich under the leadership of Kaiser William I. Wow. I really want to go to Yellowstone National Park one day. Like, it's so beautiful. So that's it for today on part 2 of historical facts that will mess with your perception of time, part 2. So if you want, so I guess I'll see you later. Bye!